This fossil was found by Mary Anning when she was just 14 years old. We think it's the second fossil she ever found. Mary Anning is a really, really famous early paleontologist. We know from the historical records that it was found at the low water mark, but even if we had no records, we can tell by things like the little worm tubes and the tiny little seashells that are on here that are modern rather than Jurassic, that this must have been found in the low water mark. This is an ichthyosaur, specifically a Temnodontosaurus ichthyosaur, that's the genus that it is, but all ichthyosaurs, they lived in the sea back during the Jurassic and into the Cretaceous, but they're reptiles. If you went in a time machine back to the Jurassic and looked at the animals in the sea, you'd think that these were just dolphins or killer whales. They grew huge, 10 meters long and bigger as well. They're sort of the cousins of dinosaurs, but they live in the sea. My role is to clean this specimen up and to make it more presentable and to mount it for display. So what are we actually looking at here? This is the skull. However, it might not be obvious that this is only part of the skull, huge though it is. This weighs 1/3 of a ton, but it would have extended another 3 feet maybe in front with all the teeth in. That's the snout. That's missing. That was never there, or it was lost long before Mary Anning found this, because we know the way that this has been rounded by the sand in the sea, all polished smooth here, and the way that we have this lovely glossy patina on the top, that's from the sand and the wave action. So what we're looking at now is just the rear portion of the skull, including this massive great eye socket. And within this eye socket, you get a sclerotic ring. That's a bony ring that goes around the iris of the eye. And that's been described as looking like a pineapple ring that you get in a tin of pineapples. It's actually dropped here. We can only see part of it. You can see it a bit better on the other side. But the rest of it's complete. So the whole of the rear of the skull is quite a thing to behold. One of the many things we'll be looking at with this particular fossil are the lovely teeth marks that we have here. But you've got 3 big marks on this side, you've got 3 great big marks on the other side as well, and these are actually very, very deep indentations of teeth. So we think that this animal was actually killed by something even bigger, and we think it's probably a palaeontological. I have a cast of a palaeontological tooth here. They're called the T-Rex of the sea. They have these huge banana-sized teeth. And we're fairly sure that it's an animal like a palaeontological, if not actually a palaeontological, that must have come up from below and grabbed the skull of this massive animal and killed it, and then presumably eaten some of it. People often ask, how can they be a paleontologist? And there are many different routes in there. Traditionally, people would say you have to do a geology degree or a zoology degree and specialise in paleontology at the end of that. But there are other ways. There are paleo artists who spend their days painting and drawing dinosaurs, which is fantastic. There are people who do statistics and computer programming. You can work with your hands, you can be a fossil preparator, you can go and collect your own fossils, learn how to clean them, prepare them, that kind of thing. They go on excavations, help contribute to the science that way.